Glossophobia, the fear of public speaking. What causes it, the drastic impact it can have on your life, and if it can ever be overcome. Today's video is about something that is often considered the number one fear in the world. Once upon a time, there was a man who had a crippling fear of speaking up. He often dreamed about being seen as a leader or a visionary. He wanted to share the many grand ideas he had with the rest of the world. However, even amongst his closest friends, he was the silent one. He would hardly ever say anything himself, and if any friend asked him a question, he would answer meekly and tersely. If a stranger ever asked him something as simple as his name, he would freeze. If a loved one asked a difficult question, he would freeze. If a lucrative opportunity presented itself, he would panic. He did his best to avoid making eye contact with anyone he encountered. This man's greatest fear was being asked to speak to a large audience. And large meant any group with more than 5 or 6 people. One day he mustered all the courage he had and took the stage to present his bright idea to a panel of investors. He went on stage with legs shaking and a heart racing so fast that he felt like it would explode. With a trembling voice and jumbled words, he shared his idea and left the stage as quickly as he could. Needless to say, he failed miserably. He felt defeated, cursing his handicap, which he deemed to be permanent and part of his DNA. This was just over 5 years ago, and as you may have guessed, that kid was yours truly. If this sounds familiar, and you have felt this way in front of people, you are not alone. Glossophobia, or the fear of public speaking, is often ranked as the number one fear in the world. Many famous people, such as business magnate Sir Richard Branson, and actors Julia Roberts, Harrison Ford, and Samuel Jackson, yes, even the SLJ, have suffered from it at one point or another. I should mention here that suffering from glossophobia is not the same as being an introvert. Many great leaders and public personalities remained introverts for their whole lives, while I have seen many extroverts falter when faced with an audience. So what causes such a widespread fear? I believe that all of us are born public speakers. Children do not have the same fears we do. They are creative, they speak their minds, and know how to get the message across. However, as they grow older, most children lose that confidence. Traditional schooling is designed to control and suppress creativity. The teacher speaks, the pupil listens and obeys. We as parents, teachers, colleagues, and peers shun expressive thought. We make fun of kids who speak up. We tell them to stop asking questions. We tell them to behave. Over time, kids become shy and more conscious of what others may think of them. They start to avoid any situation that may expose them to criticism or ridicule, and as a result, the fear only gets worse. This has a huge negative impact on other areas as well. Without developing confidence, good body language, and proper communication skills, you may end up in a less than ideal relationship. You may end up choosing a career path that you are not meant for. And you may lose out on the best job offers and promotions. So if this is such a prevalent condition, what about those who we see as the visionaries, natural leaders, and highly successful people? Did they or people around them do something right that most of us get wrong? And is there anything that can be done for the adults who have this fear? To answer the first question, children who grow up with lots of support and encouragement and are allowed creative thought are more confident and go on to become natural leaders and communicators. They also end up more successful in their relationships and in their careers. We see them as born leaders and charismatic personalities when the key factors in their success was their upbringing. And what about the rest of us? Is there anything we can do to overcome decades of negative conditioning? This brings me back to my story. How did I go from being a social outcast to winning speech contests and heading a public speaking club as president? Much of my childhood was spent moving from one country to another. Each time I faced the challenges of making new friends, learning new social norms, and sometimes even learning a new language. This could have been a huge positive, but unfortunately, it had the effect of making me shy and timid. How did I overcome the fear? And that too, when I was well into my 30s. It has a lot to do with the magic of Toastmasters. This global non-profit educational organization is dedicated to improving the public speaking, communication, and leadership skills of its members, and has helped millions of people such as myself. It has played a key role in my transformation, and it can do wonders for you as well. Since I will delve into more detail about Toastmasters in a separate video, let's discuss some other ways you can improve your confidence and communication. If you can afford it, you could get personalized professional help. A therapist could help you overcome your fear. A speech therapist or voice coach could help you improve your voice. A cheaper and long-term strategy is to seek the company of positive people who encourage and build you up, instead of those who are usually toxic and pessimistic. Great friends and mentors are valuable assets. And finally, you can start accepting roles and responsibilities that will drive you to be a better communicator. It may be tricky to get your foot through the door, but you can start teaching or go into sales. Even if you can't do this directly, why not assist a trainer or volunteer for teaching kids? But before you do anything, you need a few key ingredients: courage, will, and a paradigm shift. You need to realize that you can do something about the challenges you are currently facing, that fear is nothing to be ashamed of, that what you perceive as your weaknesses can become your strengths. Positive change can come about in an instant and does not necessarily require years of gradual improvement. As for children, it is up to us to provide them a supportive environment and to build up their confidence. Many schools are moving away from traditional methods to more collaborative ones that nurture expressive thought and teamwork. Make sure you choose the schooling that does this. And if your child is asking too many questions, just be glad they still have their curiosity. Lastly, it may seem that you have to wait for the pandemic to be over before you can get back to improving your life. Not necessarily. This is the perfect time to work on overcoming your fears and picking up new skills. Though it isn't exactly the same as facing a physical audience, addressing a camera with people watching you live can be daunting even for glossophobes and glossophiles alike. Begin your journey and conquer your fears. If you found this video useful, do give me a thumbs up and leave your thoughts below. And hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. This is Ahmed Sajjad Zaidi signing off, and I'll see you next time.